Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Stargirl Season 3, and this is going to be my review for Episode 5 for this season, otherwise entitled The Thief. So yeah, go away if you not watched the episode, spoil it, because why would you want the episode spoiled? But yeah, if you are, you have watched the episode, you are continuing on with the video, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on the episode, your reactions, predictions, theories going forward. What you love, what you hate, all that stuff. Let me know in the comments. Always curious to read what you're thinking. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, want to drop a like on it to show support. So last episode, well, we had a week off. So it feels like it was ages ago, but last episode we had the emergence of Icicle Jr. from Cameron McKent. Though there isn't a villainous turn at this point with Cameron, but Courtney is sort of keeping that in check. But we also had a piece of what appeared to be at the very least, Dragon King's DNA found at the scene of the gambler's murder at the trailer. Of course, that was also where Sylvester was attacked and almost killed. But as we see later on, Cindy, or Shiv, is growing scales and is desperately trying to stop this from going further. However, due to that, she might actually be making it worse in the process. Coming up with all these different things to try and stop herself from going down this path could be accelerating it. Who knows how her crazy evil father went about things. But the others don't know that Cindy is the one that was most likely dropping the scales. So Sylvester, Rick, and Yolanda leave last episode, before we got on this 1 week break, with their eyes set on finding Dragon King beneath Blue Valley, so we'd expect that's where they're going to pick up. Overall, this episode sort of felt like a middle episode, like a branching episode of sorts, where it sort of dealt with everything that's happened over the past 4 or so episodes. That's then going to lead into the back half of this season with both, setting some stuff up as well as addressing certain things and also planting seeds for certain things as well. And I think it did a pretty good job as well. I think there was no sort of boring or lulls in the episode, which there has been in, I think last episode, maybe episode 3, there was some lulls where they just did some, character stuff, nothing overly too relevant to the story. But I think pretty much everything this episode was pretty relevant to what's happening this season in regards to the story as well as the characters. But we do open the episode with a flashback to 5 days earlier, where we do see Cindy at the scene of the gambler's murder before the JSA arrives, where she does stow away the laptop for her to gather later, so that's how she got it, of course. While we also see that she appears to be the one who stabbed and killed the gambler with her, Shiv from her wrist, but we didn't actually see her stab him. So that's the big thing. We didn't see her stab him. The show's never shied away from showing that type of stuff, so I mean, it's not a 100% confirmation that Cindy killed the gambler, but it's definitely not the best look, obviously. So, she's of course going to be at the top of the suspect list, but there's still the issue of who attacked Sylvester. It wasn't Cindy, so who the hell attacked Sylvester? That's still lead suspect to what happened with the gambler. But in the present day, Courtney is overly happy following her time with Cameron, with Courtney eyeing to utilize the JSA's archives, to help him out with his powers and all of that, with Pat, being awfully suspicious of why Courtney isn't desperate to be on the field with the other JSA members like she normally would the rest of the time. So this is definitely a first where she's like, hey, I don't really care that they're out doing all the superhero stuff. I'd rather stay at home and do homework. Never been Courtney's thing. I'm surprised Pat didn't look into that even more. But in regards to being out in the field, meanwhile, at the former ISA HQ, we do see Cindy still struggling to get into the gambler's laptop, with her using one of his own hacking gadgets to actually get in. So I was like, why didn't you use that earlier? But maybe she didn't think about it. With her trying to find her father's various labs to, of course, help her issues out. But she's interrupted by Sylvester, Yolanda, and Rick, who have found their way there because, of course, they were looking for Dragon King, beneath Blue Valley, which has led them to this ISA HQ, which they didn't know about before. However, finding the HQ does really nothing to ease their nerves, especially Sylvester. He's believing there is something even larger at play, with that ISA mural definitely unsettling him and bringing out the worst in him. Now, I did like that chat that he had with Barbara after, where he sort of calmed down, which also led him to having a chat with Mike. And in regards to that Mike and Sylvester chat, it sort of inspired Mike that, he was a hero against Eclipso, and he can continue to do that as well outside of the JSA. And there is a Dr. Fate and Wotan name drops throughout this. We know who Dr. Fate is. Now, Wotan is an evil sorcerer sort of thing. And we also do get a name drop of Crimson Avenger when Sylvester brings up Dr. Ito, or Dragon King's other labs, that he had looked back into the day with Crimson Avenger. So some nice little, world building there. Now, Mike and Jakeem do play a role in this episode. It's almost like the comedy role, like comedic role throughout the episode. And they're confronted by bullies once again. They got to be overly specific and detailed with their wishes. You think they'd know that by now. Sorry, but I guess you got to keep making mistakes till you 100% learn how to do it. But Cindy saves the day in like a sort of like a high school rom-com sort of scene where she has that slow motion walk down the hallway and is all surrounded with pink. At first I was like, is it the Thunderbolt pen that's like crushing on Cindy? But I was like, no, it's Mike and Jakeem. I just thought that was hilarious. I just thought that was so random. It just felt like it didn't fit, but also it fit really well also. So funny moment. Now, Sylvester does go out as Starman at a couple of different points in this episode. Actually, there's only one, sorry. But he goes out as Starman in order to look into one of Dr. Evo's hidden labs. But he does need some help with the passcode, which leads to him interrupting Beth's math quiz, but also spoiling the answers when she looks down at her paper, which I personally would be stoked by. Like, oh, sweet, here comes 100%. But it very much annoys Beth. It very much annoys her. But in regards to, when Sylvester gets into this abandoned lab, it definitely gives some horror vibes. I mean, I was expecting Jigsaw or something to roll out in his little tricycle or something like that, but it leads to no avail. There's nothing that comes from there. Now, I remember seeing in another trailer, like Sylvester blowing up a barn or something in another trailer. I mean, spoiler it, I guess, but that might be one of the other labs. So he might go to another lab next episode, the episode after, once they maybe figure out where certain things are going on, or maybe there's an even more hidden lab that Sylvester didn't know about. So maybe that's where certain things come about and things like that. Now, Pat and Barbara do have a lunch date, which is nice for them, but it's interrupted by the Crocs. I mean, who else? And they reveal they have been investigating what's been happening, or what happened, with the gambler themselves in their own personal way, hanging people up by their feet, all that. And they also reveal that the gambler had paid more people back than just themselves, with them believing that he truly had changed as well, though they did give a bit more information than was needed in regards to what's happening at home, more specifically the bedroom, that could have stayed between themselves. For everyone's sake, please never say that again. Now, Courtney does open up to Cindy about her and Cameron, which sort of surprised me, but she did this because she knew that Cindy wouldn't judge her, with Cindy giving the very, very, very extremely good, very, very good advice to not tell Cameron who his father really was. Because I guess that would also lead to how he might have died and who was responsible potentially, which would open an even bigger can of worms. So very, very smart to avoid that. However, opening up to Cindy here is going to make Cindy more curious and just want to mess about. So good with the bad, I guess. But speaking of Cindy, Mike and Jakeem do offer Cindy a position on their new all-star team, which goes as well as you would expect. Reacted to with laughter. Come on, Mike and Jakeem, you got to think. But I guess they really want to go about their things, and they think that Cindy helping them out is a cry for help and that she wants to be a part of their team. I don't know. I expected it. I expected a reaction of laughter. That's what we got. I don't know what Mike and Jakeem were thinking, but better luck next time, guys, I guess. Now, Courtney's sort of swept up with what's going on with Cameron and helping him out and all of that. And due to that, all this JSA stuff is being ignored by her, and she's meant to be leading this new JSA, with Cameron himself interrupting their meeting, which makes things even worse. And Rick just sort of bluntly tells Cameron to get lost, which I thought was pretty damn funny. But Courtney doesn't find it funny. She just doesn't take the hate towards Cameron too well and storms off. So they're definitely going to have to build this relationship up again, because they're not really talking. And I wonder what's going to happen that will bring them back together. Is it something bad that happens with Cameron, or is it something else on the JSA side that Courtney has to focus on, which might upset Cameron? So Courtney's now stuck in this really dodgy position where she's built this, friendship or relationship up with Cameron, and they're spending a lot of time together. But at some point in this season, Courtney's going to have to focus on the JSA, and I don't think Cameron's going to take that too well. And that might be where his grandparents, swoop in, pick him up, and he goes to the more evil side, or he himself, his anger rises and he does something bad, which we did see when Cindy confronts Cameron, and she's trying to grind his gears and is succeeding. And I don't think that's the last time we're going to see those two butt heads. But Cindy was doing this to see if Cameron has powers like his other family members, which of course he does. But when bringing this to Courtney, Cindy realizes that Courtney already knew this. So I think Courtney's now in a really dodgy position where she can't win. She likes Cameron a lot, and I don't know if he's going to end this season good. I wasn't sure going into it, but now in regards to the predicament that Courtney's in, I can definitely see Cameron ending up a villain by the end of the season, and it might just be because Courtney got too close. So it's going to be interesting to see how things play out. But the JSA do pass on what went on with Courtney to Sylvester, with him not being happy about sides being picked and all of that, and how that was an issue for the other JSA members in the past, which we saw last season with the whole, Bruce Gordon Eclipso situation. But Beth's parents, do call in and they want a mission. With Sylvester bringing up his sister Mary and involving family with this stuff, and it being confirmed that, his sister Mary is the Mary that married Brainwave and is Henry King Jr.'s mother, and of course was murdered by Brainwave. Now, this is the same as the comics, and this leads to Beth later telling her parents to stay out of her JSA stuff, mainly for their safety. Though it's hard to do for Beth, she knows it's the thing that has to be done just to be safe, or at least be as safe as possible. Now, one other thing that's brought up in this conversation with the JSA and Sylvester is Rick's hourglass. Now, Rick, while frustrated with the hourglass once again trying to get it work, it's working, but it's really inconsistent. Sometimes it's 2 minutes, sometimes it's 20 minutes. It's not, an hour, like an hourglass and Hourman's powers should be. And he learns that there is a limit keeping sort of trigger on the hourglass that his father set to 1 hour, which appears to be busted, which is why it's inconsistent with how long it powers Rick up for. Now, Rick figures, well, if I remove it, then it should just go all day rather than all hour or the inconsistent time it's been going at the moment. But of course, his father would have put it there for a reason, an important reason. So maybe you should just think about that. But Rick is sort of just desperate to be, I guess, consistently powerful again. So Rick removes it anyway. And when he uses it, it seems to be a bit more advanced than it was before. Like, he's glowing and everything, which really didn't happen too much before. So yeah, I'm interested to see what it's like when he actually uses it, and if he's even stronger, and maybe the side effects from it as well. In the comics, there's some pretty bad side effects, but that was more of like a drug aspect. So I wonder if they're going to do like a bit more of a PG version with just the hourglass thing and how it affects Rick. Maybe it's emotionally, maybe he's really angry, or maybe it actually is, it's like deteriorating his body. Not too sure which angle they're going to go at, but surely there has to be some side effects to Rick removing that trigger sort of timekeeping device. Now, Courtney is hanging out at Cameron's, and everything seems to be going good. Cameron's acting a bit like weird. Like, he's like, it's almost like, not serial killer, but it's like, I don't know, just like stalkerish. He's just like a weird vibe. But anyway, regardless of that, these two are seen by Cameron's grandparents, and they don't look too happy at all. So I wonder what they're going to do next. I think they're going to try and intervene as much as they can in this relationship, which might make Cameron even more angry. Now that I think about it, it wouldn't shock me too much if Cameron killed his grandparents. Now that I think about it. I don't know if that's going to happen, but if they intervene and Cameron's got this like lust for Courtney, maybe he loses it at them. I'm not too sure. But to end the episode off, we do see Cindy go to the same hidden lab that Sylvester went to earlier. Of course, he's left. He'd been back in Blue Valley for a while. By the point he'd been there. But she is frustrated to not find anything, just like Sylvester was frustrated as well. But meanwhile, back at her house, because she's not there, Yolanda does follow her gut, which had the backing of Sylvester earlier on, and she does her, she does some break and entering investigating, if that's a term, and if it's legal, I'm not too sure, which leads her to finding the laptop. So, of course, Cindy took it from the RSA HQ when Sylvester, Yolanda, and Rick came earlier. She bundled that with some other stuff as well. So obviously she's keeping it at home. Yolanda's found it. Yep, there's going to be drama next episode, and I can't wait to see it. But yeah, as I said earlier, I think this episode did a really good job branching from the stuff we've had in the first 4 episodes into some stuff that we're going to see, in the back half, but all, I guess more specifically the next 2, 3, 4 episodes and stuff like that. Good mix of comedy as well. Obviously, there wasn't really any action outside of one tiny little thing, which doesn't bother me at all. Doesn't bother me a lot. I know a lot of people are frustrated by a lack of action. I'm more of a story dude. I've always said that, so this sort of falls into what I like. But I can understand people's frustrations with the lack of action, though I think we're going to start getting that as the season progresses more and more and more, and we get into the more nitty-gritty stuff, and potentially when the murderer does get revealed, because I think that's going to happen over the next handful of episodes. I don't know how long they can keep that under wraps. I think the murderer being revealed will lead to the next part of the season towards the end. But yeah, I'm interested to see what the events at the end of this episode with Courtney and Cameron, stuff with Rick, obviously the Cindy stuff with Yolanda, where that all leads, because it sounds like it's going to be tasty, and I can't wait to see where it goes. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on the episode, what you love, what you hate, what your favorite parts, any theories and predictions moving forward. Very curious to hear what you guys have to say. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.